Reporting to the cloud. Welcome back, everyone. This is Dr. Robin Kearney Frazier, and we're here to talk about our onboarding with the Guardians Guild of Requiem. Oh, see, now we're about ready to be photobombed by my puppies, but that's okay. We'll keep going. Who is the Guardians Guild? They are our guardians, healers, and warriors. As always, I like to give you our agenda so that you understand what we're getting ready to talk about before we talk about it, and then we'll talk about what we talked about. You're going to get a brief history of the Guardians Guild. You're going to find out what our current projects are, our future projects, and oh boy, does this one have sub-guilds. Oh my goodness. Along with how to join. So let's start with the history, because you got to start in the past. You got to put your past behind you, or you're behind in the past. I don't remember which, but we'll figure it out. It is one of our original 7 guilds. We decided that straight off from the bat that we needed to have a department that functioned pretty much like any other business or corporation out there. You got to have somebody looking out for your behind and doing risk management assessments to make sure that you're not going to end up in hot water. We also, at one of our events, had a lot of product walk off of the table, and some of that was my fault. I was there vending by myself, and we had 3 spaces worth of tables, and somebody kept me busy at one end while somebody pocketed. They're gonna roughhouse now, so hopefully you can still hear me over them roughhousing, so I don't have to yell at them to dozens, but I can deny. But we determined that, we do need somebody to help keep an eye to make sure we're doing things safely. This was actually our most developed guild before we had our very first project go public. Some of you may remember when we were up front at the Pipe Creek of Marketplace of Pipe Creek, that we had the service dog handlers community of Bandera was meeting up there. That was kind of a precursor of the Guardians Guild. For a while, we took it away from being open to public because we added in therapy dogs. It kind of got a heavy focus on therapy dogs and other working dogs, service dogs. So all the way up until this year, it was kind of an internal guild. You either had to know somebody who was a member of Guilds of Requiem to be invited to it, or you had to come to come to the marketplace and have a meeting with us. And, with COVID, that just hit our general membership really, really hard, that we took some long, hard looks at how we were running that project and decided that it would be better for the Guardians Guild to have a bigger presence in how that guild operated, how that project operated. So when we incorporated in 2020, the Guardians Guild officially took over the service dog handlers community, and they rebranded it as the Service Dog Guild. Well, later, they say, oh, hey, we got therapy dogs. Okay, we didn't know that. Oh, hey, by the way, we got canines in here. We've got search and rescue dogs in here. Wow. Okay, well, let's call it the working dogs of Requiem. And then everyone got to realizing, all these other communities have a lot of support from the community to start with. The one working dog that was still not properly getting the amount of community support it needed, and required a lot of education on not only the handler's part, but also businesses parts on what are the handler's rights and responsibilities. So they decided, let's go ahead and call it the Service and Working Dog Handlers Guild. So all the way up until 2022, the Guardians Guild was our risk management assessment, and that will remain for guild members only. They were involved with our event services, in which they had the first aid station at our events, along with our mother's den at those events. They also do background checks, specifically our board members. We do not, because we are a nonprofit and work with at-risk populations, anybody who's a leader in any aspect of the Guilds of Requiem will get checked twice a year against the Sex Offenders Registry database. They will get checked annually on a criminal records database. What are we looking for? A fender bender when you were 19, minor in possession when you were 19. Now, if you're 20, it might be a different story. What we're looking for is crimes against a person. So we're talking possession with intent. We're talking felony theft, felony fraud. Have you stolen from previous employers or organizations or entities that you belong to? Because we need to protect our assets too. So anybody who's a board member, which includes our vice presidents, anybody who's our guild masters and our project leaders, do go through different levels of background checks. Any project that has contact with an at-risk population. Parents, I'm going to tell you right now, if you join the steampunk unit with your child, or as a teacher, you join the steampunk unit, you can bet your bottom booty dollar that I am going to run a sex offender check on you. Because it's not just your kids that I'm keeping safe. It's everybody else's kids keeping safe. It's not for me. It's not for you to think that I'm trying to be mean or that I suspect you of something. This is a standard across the board. If it is one of our projects that deal with minors, disabled, or elderly people, we want to keep them safe. And that is what that is all about. They also, the one last thing that the Guardians Guild does is they go through and they look at any of our events and the venues, and now we're adding in our website that are they ADA accessible. Current guild projects. These are all brand new, by the way, actually except for event services. Brand new off the press this year is our Haven of Requiem projects. What is Haven of Requiem? Requiem, when you follow it back to the oldest etymology of the word, stands for final rest. A haven is a safe place. So we are creating a safe place for people to have their final rest. Rest could mean that they don't want to work for somebody else anymore. Final rest can mean a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean they want to come here and die. Please don't think that. It just means that you're tired of the rat race happening somewhere else, and you'd like to belong to somewhere that understands you're a human being, understands that you're a family person, understands that you have friends, understands that you have a life outside of what you do with us. That's what rest can mean. So we have three aspects of that. We have our guardians, our healers, and our warriors. Our guardians, and I'm going to laugh about this till the day I die. When I worked at Halloween City, we gave a first responder discount to anybody who showed us that they worked for an agency. This one gentleman come up, he says, well, it's a first responder. Well, it's this, or this. Well, what does that mean? Do you need lights or sirens and a badge to do your job? Well, I don't need a badge, but the people following me probably do. A first responder is somebody who uses lights or sirens and a badge to do their job. This is going to be your police officers, your firefighters, yeah, that's that's the polite way to put it. We are also putting in our risk management specialists into the Guardians Guild, our security officers into that, because a lot of officers do off-duty work as security guards. There's probably going to be a bigger chance of an actual security company being allowed in first, and then their employees, by extension of that, become members. Our second focus is healers, and that is anybody who needs a license to practice medicine. You got to have a license to be a CNA. You got to be certified to be a CNA. You got to have a license to be a nurse. You've got to, an RN, a nurse practitioner, a doctor, a vet. You had to go to school for medicine, no matter who you're practicing the medicine on or studying for, and you have to have a board exam certifying you that you know how to take care of somebody without killing them, then you're a healer. Our warriors, this is one where we're going to kind of see, actually, I need to back up a little bit. Our healers are EMS. They would probably they could be in a guardian and or healers or both, because they do take care of people. medically. Our warriors can be guardians. Our guardians may not necessarily be warriors. Our warriors could be healers, but a healer is not necessarily a warrior. A warrior is somebody who's chosen to go to the front line to keep those behind them safe. That's right, our armed forces. That is our Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, Space Force. We actually had our first request from somebody who is in the Space Force to join the warriors. I've got to figure out how to verify the validity of that, other than that they should have their own military ID. But I still kind of sat there and I kind of looked at that going, forgetting that Space Force is actually part of our armed forces services now. Shows you how long since I've been in the military. Our event services will always remain in-house only. There are a lot of regulations behind offering event services, security, guest station, first aid station, risk management, guest services. Yeah, these are for in-house only, and it will be staffed by people who are guardians. They already have their peace officer certification that says they can do this, versus us trying to go out and get our guild master certified for us to run a security company. There's a lot of legal stuff behind that happening that we're just not in the position anytime soon. So our future projects. We would like to be able to offer risk management assessments to area businesses, to someone who is a startup, sole proprietor, or LLC, a limited liability corporation, or for somebody who is in product development and has to label their products. We would like to be able to offer CPR and other related first aid training to small businesses. Those are less than 50 employees, to businesses that have, upon request, that have 50 to 100 employees, and to the general public at our spring and fall homesteaders and preppers bazaar. How is that going to work? The Red Cross now allows you to take the book learning part online. You come to our event at a scheduled time with your little certificate saying you passed the book learning. Our instructor witnesses you perform CPR. They witness you go through the first aid steps. They sign off on it. You get your certificate by email. That's how we're going to make that happen. We would also like to be able to offer ADA compliance training for service dog access laws. We already kind of do that to begin with, all the way up until I got super sick. About once a month, I was going to talk to a new area business or company or corporation, other nonprofit churches on how to make sure that they're compliant with service dog access. As we get more people into our Merchants Guild that understand website development, we would like to be able to offer ADA compliance training to anybody who's a website developer. And this is, you might be seeing those sponsored ads already on Facebook. This is about ready to become a really big deal because, that's an entire populace that you are missing out on visiting your website if they can't read what's being said on it, if their assistive reader can't pick up what it is. If you look at our logo over here, that is borderlining not being accessible to somebody with a visual disability. So we want to make sure we're eliminating obstacles to those who, have barriers that the rest of us don't think about. In conjunction with other guilds, we would like to work on home automation. So that kind of puts our Guardians Guild talking to our Technicians Guild, because we got to have our construction, our contract laborers who help do the installing. Plus you got to have the IT part of it that is actually running cables, actually installing the system and the remote monitoring and everything else. Will we be doing home security system installs? If it requires you to have a permit to have that home security system so that somebody else can monitor it and 911 respond to it, no. There's too many regulations involved around that. Now, if there's kind of a caveat to that, if we install an aquaponic system and home automation, we will set up remote monitoring for you on your network on how to monitor your aquaponic system. This will give you an alarm if your pH level drops suddenly. This will give an alarm if your pH level suddenly goes very high. It'll let you know if you have a low water, which could signify a water pump has gone rogue. If the O2, your oxygenation that is vital for your fish and your plants, has dropped below a certain level, that'll set off an alarm. It also means that if you go on vacation for a week or so or more, you don't have to worry about, is your system going to crash by the time you get home? Because open up your little app, boop, boop, boop. Hey, my fish have been fed. Look at that. I'm looking at my fish right now. They look fantastic. Hey, let me look at my, that's what we're talking about when it comes to remote monitoring. We would like to also be able, like I said, we need to work with our Merchants Guild for website accessibility reviews. We would also like to offer safety and self-defense courses as a part of the Scholars Guild curriculum. We have already made a couple of fantastic contacts in Bandera and Kerrville and Bernie of people who run self-defense, safety and self-defense businesses that one of them is just already to say, let me loose in there and let me be at all of your events, and I'll just make it a regular part of my routine to have my Saturdays open for your events. That thrills me like you wouldn't believe. And it's always best to practice now and create muscle memory. So when you find yourself be in a position where you need to respond and defend yourself or defend your children, it is core muscle memory. So this kind of brought up a little snag and a pre-question already. How much of my information are you sharing with other people? I'm disabled. I make no qualms, no doubts about it. I'm in the wheelchair almost 90% of the time. I'm out a lot. I'm sick a lot. I'm in the hospital a lot. I choose to be a voice of inspiration and share with people, this is my journey. This is what I go through. Maybe you're not quite so keen on people knowing that you're colorblind or you have some other disability happening. The only time that we are going to tell a guardian or a healer or a warrior, first of all, first and foremost, involves your consent. We will never disclose anything to another guild or to another guild member without your consent. That's number one. If you tell me something in confidence, I'm not going to go tell anybody else. And I expect that of all of our guild members. If you are telling one of our guild masters or project leaders something in confidence, we are going to maintain that. And the Guardians Guild is the one that investigates any complaints of something other than that happening. Privacy Act, HIPAA, all of that, we take that very serious. Our sub-guild, this is the one that has me excited because it's just got whee! That is our Service and Working Dog Handlers Guild. If you couldn't tell about earlier in the video that I was so excited about where this is taken off this yard, then wow, yeah, I'm excited. We're watching it grow. We're reaching out into the business communities for those who provide care for dogs, and a couple of them have already said, yeah, if you create a membership card for your members, I'll give them a discount. Why not? Oh, and it's my way of saying thank you, especially for working dogs. This is also by far the most complete website because I have been pouring my heart and soul into this website and all the information out there. As somebody who's disabled and has relied on service dogs for many, many years to keep me safe, by all means, this is where I am wanting to learn. I'm wanting to help. So this is a resource for all working dog teams, regardless of geographical location. You do not have to be in the greater San Antonio area. You don't even have to be in the state of Texas. We have one of our trainers and a bunch of her clients from New Mexico in our group. We've got some people from Minnesota reached out to me the other day to see if that it was okay for their members to join our group. This is we aim to have our resources available to anybody, regardless of their geographical location. So when I say resources, right now, our biggest resource that we have is our webinars. And those happen the fourth Sunday of every month. And currently our webinar is Life with the Service Dog. So if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to have a service dog, I believe we are putting it up on the Service and Working Dog Handlers Guild YouTube channel. Yeah, go watch them. We take our time, and we really talk and get to the meat of the matter of what it's like. It's some real talk. Currently, we are only recognizing working dogs as members. So basically what this is that if a dog needs training to perform their job, they are a working dog. A service dog needs to be trained to perform tasks to mitigate your disability, and it needs to be trained for acceptable public behaviors as defined by the American Disabilities Act. Therapy dogs, they need to be trained for public access. They need to not be reactive. They need to, yes, they are providing comfort and care, but you know what? When you're doing it for a lot of people, there's some training involved. They also have to be certified. That is one of the few working dogs that in order to interact with the public, it has to be certified at its job. Police dogs, search and rescue dogs, bomb sniffing dogs, drug dogs, guard dogs. These are all dogs that need to be trained to do their job. On the note of guard dogs, if your guard dog is reactive to other dogs, we will politely ask you to not bring it to our meetings. A lot of the people at our physical meetings have service dogs. These service dogs are their lifeline. It is literally the difference between life and death if their dog is distracted, if their dog is otherwise hurt. You're not going to make a lot of friends if you bring your guard dog and your guard dog is reactive to other dogs and tears up somebody's working dog that is their source of income, that is their source of protection. Because service dogs are medical equipment according to the ADA, the state of Texas, and several other states. They are considered medical equipment. So our membership only area on that website, I'm still kind of working on populating it, but it's already there. It does have closed forum discussions. We will have apprenticeship or educational programs for members only. We will have a listing of preferred care providers and training opportunities that offer discounts to Service and Working Dog Handlers Guild members. Sounds like fun. Not done yet. It is going to be offering a Train the Trainer program. This is an externship opportunity for those who are enrolled in a recognized dog training program. So there's a lot of online schools right now that involve webinars, and you watch a video and you answer questions. And then there's a hands-on portion. And if you are somebody who wants to train dogs and you live in an apartment, the chances that you're not allowed to have a dog in that apartment are very, very high. So we're looking at, once we get a permanent location and permanent buildings, is having a place to train and board. And that will rely upon the Train the Trainer program and making sure it happens. We will also offer mentorships with trainers who are part of the guilds, the Service and Working Dog Handlers Guild, so that you can learn hands-on what is involved with training a dog, specifically any working dog. We do have monthly group training sessions, and that is typically the third Saturday, September through May in Bandera County. If there are any weather warnings, advisories out, we will not meet because there's a good chance that we're also going to cancel market, because our vendor safety and our handler safety and our member safety is always our priority. Hopefully, as we get bigger, we will have multiple locations on different weekends in the greater San Antonio area. Maybe some of our chapters will want to schedule their own and want us to advertise it on our website. Our webinar series is based on what our members want to know more about. Currently in our discussion group, I have asked if there's a second webinar series that people would like to start at the halfway point of this one on the 4th Saturdays. Otherwise, I'm taking information for what we're going to talk about next after living with a service dog. How to join, my favorite part forever and always will be. We do have a website, a Guardians Guild. This will go up as a PDF with hot links when we put our videos up on YouTube. You just need to look in the description and it will have a link to that website. We've got a hot link to our Google application. All else fails, you can email the Guardians Guild of Requiem or the Guardians Guild of Requiem at guildsofrequiem.com or customer service at Guilds of Requiem. The bottom two have the most number of eyes that are keeping it in tabs on it. And all else fails, share your talents, share your time, and share your passions with others. If you have any questions that need answers, please drop them in the comments below. As always, we do monitor our comment sections for questions and to ensure that there's no scammers trying to get your money. And anytime we come across one of those, we like to gladly tell them our peace of mind on what they're doing on our page. May not necessarily be PC, but we certainly feel great for doing it. That is all we have for on this video. Our next one will be a very short, brief one about our international guilds of Requiem and how somebody can start their own project. Have yourself a blessed evening.